Welcome back to the Pach-Attack. From the forum, Tom Wong asked us a question. What goes into giving away the free games through the instant game collection from PlayStation Plus work? What goes, that doesn't make any sense. What goes into giving away free games through the instant game collection from PlayStation Plus work? There's like either too many verbs there or not enough, I'm not sure. But how are the developers and publishers of these games compensated? All right, that's actually a fair question. Nothing's free. So somebody's paying for it. We know you're not, okay? So you are because you're on PlayStation Plus, you're paying $5 a month. So what Sony is doing is they're saying we're collecting $60 per subscriber on PlayStation Plus. We're gonna take a piece of that $60, let's say 10, and we're gonna provide, let's say, 10 free games to those people over the course of the year. And the truth is, everybody's not gonna take all 10 games. So the average is probably everybody takes one game. I mean, some guys take 5, some guys take none. I'm just making this up because it sounds reasonable to me. And they're getting $10 set aside, everybody takes one game. They pay the publisher $10 for each game download. That's how it works. Sony's paying, they're paying in order to get you to pay them $60. So you're paying, you just don't know it. They call it free. It's free if you pay $60. So it costs $60 to get free games. You probably didn't notice that. I know you're gonna say, but I get online multiplayer as well. You used to get it free. Now you're getting it for $60. So actually they're charging you $50 for online multiplayer and $10 for your free games. That's how it works. Hope that made sense. From Twitter, we have a question from Salty Fat Man, which I'm thinking is Marcus Beer. Because he is salty, and he is fat, and he is a man. Oh, Marcus, you're cute. You're chubby, but you're cute. You guys remember Marcus Beer? He used to work here. No? Can we say him? Do you have to bleep that out?
You can say Marcus Beer.
Yeah, we like Marcus Beer. Salty Fat Man. Does CFA have a higher ROI than MBA for money spent to get the designation and salary earned in return? No. I want you to start timing now how long it takes me to read this question, because this is the longest question I've ever seen. I may have to read some of the lines a couple of times because there's a lot of big words in here. From the forum, from Flash Drive Viewer. Hello, Pachter. Having chips powering all 3 consoles, that's brilliant. Like we have chips in consoles, what a novel idea. 2 of them bolstering record-breaking sales last holy days, over 8 million units combined. Where's he getting numbers like that with 7.2? Oh, well, whatever. Okay, guys, adding 3 and 4.2 and coming up with 8. That's good. It's a good addition. AMD is finally out of the red, reporting a much-needed $89 million profit for Q4 2013. Okay. In the latest bonus round episode, you mentioned Sony and Microsoft expect to sell an insane amount of over 28 million units in 2014, and some predict a combined amount of 79 million sales in 5 years. All that considered, one could expect a rosy future for AMD, but investors don't seem impressed as this has not been reflected on stock prices. Why is that so? Even if console sales do meet that level in 2014, wouldn't it be enough to pull AMD out of their financial crisis? Also, suppose AMD does go out of business sometime in the next 7 years. Would Sony and Microsoft need a hardware architecture change and be forced to cut short this console generation? Okay. So my official answer is that my coworker, Betsy Van Hees, covers AMD. She has a buy rating on the stock. Last I checked, it's about 5, but I'm gonna check now because I do have it on my screen, if I can get my screen to pop up. There, my monitor just got tired. 1 second. Let's see what AMD is trading at. Van Hees. AMD, $3.47. I'm wrong. She must have a $5 target. There you go. It's trading at $3.47. Betsy has a buy on it for exactly the reasons you said. I don't think 79 million combined in 5 years is high at all. That's 16 million a year. And given that they sold 7 million in the first 6 weeks, 16 million a year is 8 million each. That's happening. I mean, they sold respectively, well, they sold 160 million combined since 2005. So in 8 full years, they sold 160 million. That's 20 million a year. So I don't know where you're getting 79. I would say 20 million a year the next 5 years is likely. So I don't know what that means for AMD. The reason I answered the question that I don't know what it means for AMD is I don't cover AMD. I could not tell you what their revenues are, their profits are. Betsy can. So we'll see if we can get her on the next Pach-Attack. If we're filming this in the office, I still couldn't get her because she's in San Francisco and I'm in LA. But Betsy thinks it is enough to pull them out of their financial crisis. And again, I don't even know that they're in financial crisis. I think they're profitable. I think that, and you said 89 million profit in Q4. I think that Betsy thinks they're going to be profitable. Your question that's predicated on suppose AMD does go out of business. I'm pretty confident that Sony and Microsoft did their homework before contracting with AMD, and they probably are pretty comfortable that AMD has enough of a core business not to go out of business. Betsy would not have a buy rating on them if she thought they're going bankrupt. In fairness, I had a buy rating on THQ until 2009, and I downgraded, maybe 2008, and I downgraded. So I saw it 3 years ahead of time. Betsy will downgrade 3 years ahead of time, and I don't think that she thinks it's happening in the next 4. So I think, honestly, if AMD looked like they were in trouble, Sony and Microsoft would increase their chip orders, and they would stockpile them. So if they thought they needed 50 million more chips, they'd just order them, and then what do you know? AMD would be out of financial crisis. They'd get all those sales accelerated. So I really don't think there's a chance if these guys are going to buy that much product from them that AMD is going to have a problem. But again, we'll have to ask Betsy. I'm not an expert on AMD. Thanks for joining us on this week's Pach-Attack. If you have a question, please submit it to the link below. Or if you'd like to submit a question to me on Twitter, address it to @MichaelPachter. If you'd like it on the show, add the hashtag AskPach, and we'll try to get to as many of those on the next round of Pach-Attacks as we can. CFA is Chartered Financial Analyst. ROI is Return on Investment. MBA is Master of Business Administration. So the question is, if you get a CFA designation, which is a 3-part test given annually, I believe it's in June, you can only take it once a year, and you have to pass 3 parts. So if you do everything flawlessly, it takes you 3 summers, so 2 years and a month of exams to pass it. MBA and study is self-study, so you don't go to school, you just learn the materials. It's like getting a real estate license or anything else, or passing the bar. MBA is a 2-year typically program after college. You're required to have a college degree to take it, and it's hard to get into most schools, and you go to school essentially full-time for 2 years. I have an MBA. I do not have a CFA. A CFA is valuable only if you want to work in the securities industry. So if you want to do what I do, it helps. I don't have one, so obviously I don't think enough of it to get one. And if you want to be on the investment side, so you want to manage other people's money, it helps. A lot of firms like CFAs. Most firms will hire an MBA that doesn't have a CFA because they know that we learned something. But the MBA has value outside of the securities industry. Pretty much you can work in, as a financial analyst for any company. You can be a CFO, you can be a CEO. I read a survey study about 10 years ago that measured the value of different postgraduate degrees. So it was a law degree, an MBA, and a medical degree. And the highest return of the 3 was the MBA. So MBAs, based on working career, make more money than doctors and lawyers. And the real reason on the doctor side is doctors make higher wages, but they stay in school for a lot longer. They have to go to medical school for 4 full years. Typically there's internship residency, and then a lot of them learn to be surgeons or whatever. My cousin, who just retired, was a plastic surgeon. He graduated from college at 22. He practiced first as a fully licensed plastic surgeon at age 36. So it took him 14 years after college before he started working. And he just retired at 60. So my cousin worked 24 years after his degree. I graduated from law school in 1981. So I have now been working 33 years. And I've got another couple before I'm my cousin's age, which means I will have worked 35 to his 24. And that's why the MBA is worth more. I have a JD, but I also have an MBA. I love school. So answer is CFA has a very limited application. I think it's a waste of time unless you're going to work in the financial services industry. If you aren't sure what you want to do for a living, get an MBA because it translates across any industry. And I think it actually is good training, probably the most valuable degree for me as far as my resume. The law degree, by far, is the most valuable degree I have. I learned a lot more in law school than I did in all my other schools combined. I actually learned something in law school. It's all new and all fascinating, and you don't lose a lot of arguments if you're a lawyer, except with other lawyers.